Today we're going to be talking about positive self-talk, which just means the way that we talk to ourselves, usually in our thoughts or in our head. And you might have recently seen the video that we've done about feelings, behaviours and thoughts and how they all affect each other, called the cycle of thoughts, feelings and behaviour. So I just want to do another quick example, just to kind of describe to you how important our thoughts can be in the way that we feel and how we act. So if we think about three different pupils walking to school one morning, and all three of them step in a big pile of dog poo. So the first pupil thinks, this is so annoying, I know who's done this and I really think they've done it on purpose. Chances are with that thought, that person's going to feel pretty angry, pretty annoyed, and they might behave in a certain way because of this. So they might actually go around there, they might cause an argument, how they act might depend on how they feel, basically. The second pupil has a bit of a different thought. He thinks, you know what, this is so annoying, this always happens to me, this type of thing, it always happens to me, the world's against me, I may as well just give up trying. I come out the house and the first thing that happens, I step in some poo, I feel like giving up. So that pupil's likely to have maybe sad feelings, maybe upset feelings. You might feel a bit like defeated, what's the point? And with those feelings, you know, you might act on that and you might actually not go to school, you might turn around, you might just think, this day is going to be too hard, and that might affect his behaviour. So then we've got the third pupil who just, he thinks, you know what, that's really annoying, I'm really annoyed, but what can you do? I'm going to find some grass, I can probably wipe it off, I can get on with my day. So he, you know, in that instance, with that thought, he's probably feeling okay, he's probably feeling like he can manage, he'll probably go and find some grass, wipe his foot and go to school. So from that we can kind of see just how powerful thoughts can be and how much they can affect what we do and how we feel. So as we saw, you know, three people in the exact same situation had three very different responses and behaved in three different ways, just depending on the thought that they had about it. So thinking about that, we can see how if we were to change our thoughts into more positive statements and more positive self-talk, how this might again impact how we feel, make us feel better, make us feel different, and also impact how we act. So yeah, what we do. And I know that this is easier said than done, and often people experience automatic negative thoughts that can't really help, they just kind of come into their head. So the first step to thinking more positively and being kinder to ourselves is just to notice when we're having these negative thoughts. Think about, what is the thought, what am I thinking? You could maybe think about, if you wanted to think about it more, you could think, where do these thoughts happen? Who do they happen around? When do they happen? And then you can even have a, you can even look at the thought and think, how much do I actually believe in this? How much do I think this is true? And from that, you can start to challenge the thoughts. So this just means you're kind of acting a bit like a judge. So you're looking for evidence for the thought, you're looking for evidence against the thought. You could ask yourself, to help you do that, you could ask yourself questions like, is this just a thought or is it a fact? Has it happened before? What would my friends say to me if I told them this thought? What would I tell a friend if they had the same thought? And answering these type of questions about the thoughts that we have about ourselves can help us come up with a bit of a more balanced thought, a bit of a different thought, and hopefully a more helpful, positive thought. So what can be really helpful at first, when you're first practicing doing this, because it's not that easy straight away, you can start by making a bit of a list of all the negative thoughts as they come, so you can keep a note of them, and then you can get an idea of, what are my negative thoughts that are making me feel bad. And from this, we're going to try you trying to make a list of alternative positive thoughts. So for example, you might notice that you always have the thought, I can't do this, when you're having to do something new and different. So thinking of a positive alternative might be, this is a good chance to do something new that I've never done before. I might do well at this. You might notice that you have the negative thought, oh, nobody ever talks to me, nobody ever gets in touch. And thinking about a positive opposite to that, you might tell yourself, maybe I can try texting people a bit more, see who replies to me, So if you're struggling to remember these positive thoughts, because it is difficult at first if you're not used to it, what you can do is you can make reminder cards, and you can even keep these with you if they're quite small. You can keep them in your pocket, and these could have positive self-talk statements on them, just to remind you that you can think differently in these common situations where you have negative thoughts. So, for example, if you struggle with anxiety in some situations, and you know that you often have the thought, I can't do this, I need to leave, maybe. You could write things like, I've done this before and it was okay. I've done this before and I felt good afterwards. I'm stronger than I think. I can get through this. Even things like, this feeling will pass. It's passed before. Just reminders that you can look at once your brain starts thinking negatively, to help you replace those thoughts with positive self-talk. You can also make some general positive statements that just make you feel better when you're feeling a bit rubbish. So it could be things like, I'm good at this, or people think that I'm really good at that, or I'm a good friend because of this. I can do things well. Could be something specific. And if you're struggling to kind of come up with these statements in the beginning, you can always ask friends, you can always ask family, what are some positive things about me that you can make a list of or make some reminders about. So the main points from this video, it's about noticing when you're criticizing yourself and noticing when you're having these negative thoughts and what they are. And then thinking about, one really helpful way to think about it is, would I say these types of things to a friend or someone that I love? Would I talk to them like that? And if you find that you're talking to yourself that way, that the way that you wouldn't do to a friend or someone you love, that's a pretty good indicator that you're talking negatively to yourself, and it might be a good idea to change how you're speaking to yourself. And it's sort of like being your own friend, and remembering how powerful your thoughts are, and they can change how you feel and how you act. So thank you for listening.